Was interrupted. Let's continue our class for few minutes. The video will be uploaded later on the Google Classroom. So let's continue our discussion on directional coupler. I want you to understand this device nicely. So directional coupler is how many ports? This device has 4 ports. Port P1, port P1, which is input port. Port P2, which is called direct port. Port P3 is called coupled port. There is another port here. This is also output port P4, which is called isolated port. So how many ports? 4 ports. P1 input, P2 direct port, P3 coupled port, P4 isolated port. Okay, so directional coupler, there are different manufacturers. You can go to online markets like Alibaba, right? Search for directional couplers. So you'll find different type of couplers, different manufacturers, specifications, price, different price, quality. You can check because it's very common device. You will find it in so many applications. So this coupler, as I said, it's 4-port device. It's the general purpose device. It's not designed only for one application. It's designed for, we can use it for many applications. So next point you have to know, inside the coupler, as I said, there are 2 transmission lines. One transmission line inside connect port 1 with port 2. So the signal, if you apply signal at port 1, which is always input port, the signal will be transmitted directly through this cable, through this device, from port 1 to port 2, and you will get it here as output. Okay, it transmitted directly from P1 to P2. But it's not only this. Not all the signal is transmitted directly to port 2, direct port. A small portion of the signal coupled or transferred from this transmission line to another transmission line. You will find it here. This is another transmission line. So small signal transferred from this cable to this cable here. How is signal transferred? It's by coupling, not signal cables are not contact, physical contact. No, there is no physical contact. But because of magnetic coupling, a signal, small part of signal transferred to this second transmission line. Now this coupled signal, after transmitted from transmission line, after it's coupled from transmission line 1 to transmission line 2, signal is here now. Small part. Maybe this power is, if you apply, as I said, 10 watt signal power as input, 9 watt will be transmitted directly. The remaining, this signal will be only 1 watt. You see, this signal is divided into 2 parts. 9 watt directly, 1 watt coupled. Now, this signal, this wire goes to which port? Port number 3, P3. Okay. This coupled signal, how much watt? 1 watt signal must go to port number P3 as output. Okay, as output. Because of this coupling, we call this device coupler. This device divide this 10 watt into two, 9 watt and 1 watt by a process of coupling. That's why it's called a coupler device. Okay. But not all signal, not all this couple signal go in the correct direction to port 3. Small part, very, very small part of the signal will go to the wrong direction and comes to port number 4. Okay. When directional couplers are designed as the name indicates, it is directional. Directional indicates what? The coupled signal, 1 watt transferred signal, should be transmitted only to port 3. We have to get here 1 watt, right? But small part of the signal will go in the wrong direction and go to the port number 4, which is called isolated port. It's called what? Isolated port. Okay, it's called isolated port. That's why this device is called directional. Why we call it directional? Because the coupled signal must be transferred to port number 3. Port number 3 is called coupled port. It's called what? Coupled port. But there is no perfect device. There is no perfection here. Small part of the coupled signal will transmit in the wrong direction and go to port number 4 in opposite direction. But what we need is signal will be transmitted in one direction. That's why it's called directional. So the name directional and coupler. We call it directional coupler, a device which is used to couple, transfer small part of a signal into port number 3, port coupled port. And that's how we define directional coupler. So as you can see on the slide, why we call it a coupler? Because this device consists of 2 transmission lines, and these 2 transmission lines, they no direct connection, but they are very close to each other. Okay, they are not connected, but they are very close to each other, so that small portion, you can see here, small portion of the energy of the signal in one line is present or transferred to the second line. Okay, when you open a coupler, as I said, there is nothing there but 2 wires very close to each other, no physical contact, no direct connection. If you apply a signal in one cable, a small portion of energy will be transferred to the second line by a process of coupling. That's why we call it a coupler. Okay, why we call it directional? Why we call it directional? It means what? The coupled energy must be passed only in one direction. Okay, only in one direction. The coupled signal, if transmits in opposite direction, it's wrong. But it practically we have some imperfections here. So directional coupler, here you can see directional coupler sample the power traveling in one direction only. That's why it's called directional. So it's a combination of the two. We call it directional coupler.